They need to put it in. We've got one.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for watching. I'm Ed.
And I'm Kat.
And we are The Rudes React. Now, we've got another comedy reaction for you today. But before we get to that, if you haven't clicked the like button or the subscribe button, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and doing that, that would be great. Now, if you don't want to, that's fine. We're not going to be like other YouTubers and ask you to smash the like button or to destroy the subscribe button. But if you find yourself in an empty elevator and the like button gets on, maybe throw it a couple of eyes. And the subscribe button, maybe if you want to take it on a date, nothing crazy, nothing formal, maybe it's just coffee or something like that, go ahead and do that, but it's totally up to you. We'll leave the ball in your court. LeBron. Now,
for those of you who have liked,
that's a good point.
For those,
what do you want to say to them?
I want to say thanks.
Thank you.
I want to say thanks. Thanks for
being a
liking. Thanks for going on our first date. Get it?
Yeah, because you took them out.
Yeah,
because you
exactly.
subscribed.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Liked, subscribed. Of course, anyone who's left little comments and suggestions, they've all been really helpful and we've really appreciated it.
Now, we're going to get into this. Let's do it.
This woman goes, "Hey Tom, you are in the emergency room and you overdosed." And they're like, "What did you take?" So I write, "Heroin." And they go, "Are you serious?" And I write, "JK."
Yeah.
Welcome to This Is Not Happening presents One Crazy Night.
Don't play.
We're a bunch of comedians tell stories about a similar subject. So this is just one crazy night. Give it up for my friend and yours, Mr. Tom Segura, everybody. Let him in.
Thanks. Ari Shafir, everybody. Let him hear it. Ari Shafir. All right. Let's go back to 1997. Holy shit. And fuck, that time flies. And I'm a freshman in college. And Thanksgiving, remember Thanksgiving, everybody? That's the first time that you go, usually back home. That's your first break in your freshman year. And it's a big deal because it's also like a mini class reunion, right? It's the first time you see everybody that you used to go to school with every day. You're back your first few months and everybody's recapping. And the big thing is the next day, the day after Thanksgiving, everybody gets together and parties their fucking balls off while acting like they're a new person, right? So
That is actually something that I guess isn't as common. Like in Australia, don't they usually go away to like a different state or somewhere to university?
It's actually, I find it really interesting. Their total construct of how they go away to their university or their college and they come back because they have their big summer break, like it's
in the middle of the year.
Yeah,
the summer's in the middle.
Well, I don't know whether that's the same with university, but it's just really interesting. Yeah, we don't have that.
No, it would be with university, right? I mean, if you're American and you went to university or you know of it, tell us, because I'm pretty sure it's the same semester breakup as ours. And they just have, instead of, I guess, our long break is, well, it's the same. It's summer. Our long break is usually from what? Mid to late November. University, this is.
Yeah,
mid to late
university.
November till
about 3
early
months.
February.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it's 2.5 months ish.
But we don't have to. We don't have to
go home and do all that.
Move to another state or anything like that.
Yeah, nice.
So it's really interesting.
Yeah, usually you just go to one of the universities around. I guess unless you're regional,
Oh, that's
unless you're
different.
like in a rural
but,
area.
Yeah, it's still different with America. They
It's
don't
so
have to be. Yeah.
It's an industry. Anyway, sorry, we'll get back to it.
I start off, I find one of the guys that didn't go to school, and he's like, "I'm the new drug supplier." And I'm like, "I remember you from math." And
From math.
he asked me what I want, and I'm like, "What do you got?" And he goes, "I have ecstasy." And I go, "Yeah." Everyone says, "That's fun. Let's try it." And I start taking it. And, I forgot to mention, before I went to college, senior year, I got really into a drug that was making its way, especially through the South, through Florida, called GHB. And I'm sure, I don't know if you know what it is. It's a gamma hydroxybutyric acid. Your body naturally produces it. Sometimes there's some places where they regulate it as an anesthetic, but basically when you get it, somebody made it in a bathtub, and that's the good stuff, all right? And they sell it to you, and they get it in a water bottle. They also call it the date rape drug. No, I didn't do that. I gave it to myself all the time. And it does have an amazing effect on sex. On masturbating, let's be honest. On masturbating. I've really had some crazy masturbation seminars as a senior, and then I passed out, and I'm like, who jerked me off? Oh, yeah, it was me. Okay.
That is funny. I've heard that of GHB from like a medical show here, and there was this guy, and he was brought into the ER, the emergency room. He had put like a clamp around his testicles.
Oh my God.
And he was on this because this drug in Australia, I don't know what it's like. It's kind of not that lots of people take it, lots of different types of people, different things, but it's very big in like the LGBTQ
RS.
that like the gay scene. That's big in it. So anyways, this guy, and he put a clamp around his testicles. He'd taken this, and basically he passed out on a bus stop, and someone saw him passed out. They called an ambulance. They found him, and they saw this contraption. It was a metal contraption that you would like vice together, I think. I think it was around the cock and the balls maybe at the same time, because why would you just do the balls? But anyway, and like they were like, they couldn't get it off. And eventually they did, and they're like, we're lucky because you could have lost them.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
could have
just
lost
like,
them.
When Tom's talking,
manhood.
when Tom's talking about GHB, all I think about is this bloke with a vice on his nuts in a hospital. That's where my mind is. Let's keep going.
So, anyways, okay, so I get the ecstasy into my system, and then I take it. I'd never taken it, so as soon as I take it, I go like, hey, man, fucking, I don't feel anything. He's like, you just took it, man. Like,
Let it marinate.
give it a minute, all right? All right. So we're hanging out at this party. We're at a party. Everyone's together. And then we're going to go to a bar. And at the end of the house party, on the way to the bar, I go, hey, man, I don't feel anything. So he goes, all right, when we get to the bar, come find me, and I have GHB. So I'm like, okay. So I find him, and he's like, all right, let's go to the car. And that's always the big move when you go to the car, right? You're like, this is where dreams come true in the car. A drug dealer's car is where it all lives. So I'm expecting what I know, which is a water bottle, and then a dose is the cap. So all you do is you pour the water into the cap and you drink it like that. It tastes like ocean water, like seawater, right? Salt water. And then it's immediate. GHB, if it's good stuff, it's like, we used to call it permagrin, because you just be like,
Permagrin.
and if someone's like, fuck you, you're like, So I'm like, all right, where is it? And he goes, it's right there. And he has a gallon jug, right? And I'm like, wow, that's not a water bottle? He's like, yeah, I haven't even put it into the water bottles yet. That's the full thing. And it's a full gallon. Now, if you think about a full gallon, you know that the cap is much different. It's flatter.
Gallon, yeah.
You're not going to sample. And it's also heavier. So I don't know how to pour it. So he's like, just take a shot. And I'm like, all right.
No.
Oh my God.
So I put it up. And then I go, in my mind, oh shit. I have like 9 shots in my mouth right now.
Oh no.
So the options are, do I spit it back into the main jug, which I feel like he's going to be like, not cool with that, you know, being that he's a drug dealer and all. The other thing would be spit it out on the ground, and I don't want to be rude, right?
Oh my God.
So I just go like, and I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
I have taken way too much GHB. Now, I'm leaving out the point that you're not supposed to mix GHB and alcohol. It is potentially fatal.
Oh my
You may have
God.
known this if you...
So he's got ecstasy,
Yep.
alcohol, and 9 shots of GHB.
9 times a dose.
Well, yeah, 9 times a dose.
I mean, obviously from the start, he ends up in hospital.
Well,
we
yes.
know why. Jesus.
Wow.
What would you have done? I mean, I know you wouldn't do any of it. Kat's never done drugs, never going to. But in that situation, so you've got it in your mouth, you've realised I've taken way too much.
Oh,
Do you spit it back in? Do you spit it out? Or do you swallow?
I think I'd spit it out.
Yeah.
I'd spit it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's my worst nightmare.
Oh.
You know those scare tactics that you had in like high school and things, like when they came and did not sex ed, but well, same for drugs.
Drug ed.
Drug
Yeah,
ed.
drug ed.
It scared me. I was like, I'm going to be that person that takes that one ecstasy pill and
dies.
ends up dead. Yeah, that'll be me. Which is it protected me, I suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see what happens.
It can be. At this point, I am on 13 or 14 drinks, right? Like,
Oh my God.
and it's liquor, like, vodka drinks, and I'm just pounding them. I get
God.
the 9 shots into me, and then I walk back into the bar, and I'm like, what's up, everybody? Like, I'm fucking... They're like, where does all this personality come from? Just natural, man. So, and then I sat down. I remember sitting down, and the girlfriend came, and she sat on my lap, and then lights out. Like, I just don't remember anything. Like, I went to sleep. All I remember is that I wake up, and I'm looking at lights on a ceiling, right? I'm just like, oh, shit. Is this heaven? And then I see a woman come into frame, right? Because I'm laying on my back. I can't talk. I can't move my arms. And this woman goes, hey, Tom, you are in the emergency room, and you overdosed on drugs, and now you're coming out of a coma. And I'm just like, oh. Like processing it. But the process literally was just eyes closed, like, oh, shit. And my only thought was like, I hope nobody knows. That's the only thing I'm thinking. I hope
everybody
nobody
knows.
Everybody knows.
And then I open my eyes again, and my parents come into frame. And then I'm like, everybody knows. And they look so just like, we thought you were a good kid. What the fuck? So I'd never been in trouble. They won't let your arm out because I pull out the tubes. I have a tube for breathing. I have another tube that's pumping liquid charcoal into my stomach because that makes the chemicals and the drugs like come together, and then you also can't digest it, so you vomit, which is what they want you to do. So as I'm like, I'm also like, I'm throwing up, right? So they give me a piece of paper and a pen that I can't really write normally because I'm strapped down, but I can kind of chicken scratch. And they're like, what did you take? Because they're trying to figure, they don't even know what I took. So I write, heroin. And they go, are you serious? And I write, JK. They're not like, good one. They're like, what the fuck are you joking? So, then the kid in me, I'm looking at my parents and I'm like so worried about them. I write on the paper, I go, are you mad at me? And my parents, at that moment, my dad reads it and he goes, no, buddy, just disappointed. Can you save that for when I'm breathing on my own? Like,
Yeah.
So,
Oh, goodness.
I'm in that emergency. I get moved to critical, then ICU. In the ICU, a doctor comes in who I hadn't seen yet. And I'm later told, this is a doctor. They tell me this is the doctor that saved your life. So I'm sitting there in the bed, and he comes in, and he goes, are you in a band? And I was like, what, man? What? And he goes, are you in a band? And I was like, no, I'm not in a fucking band. And he goes, well, you had enough in you to take down 2 drum players and a bass player, man. And I'm like, you now with the fucking jokes, really? And I go, well, he goes, what did you take? And I go, I had, I don't know, I took a couple pills. I told him honestly, I had some drinks. And I took, some GHB, probably enough for like a lot of people. And he goes, what about the heroin? And I go, no, I was just joking. And he goes, no, you have heroin in your system.
What?
And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, you have heroin, you have cocaine, you have PCP. He's like, you also have the same chemicals that are in like cleaners, like some of the super duty cleaners. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? And he goes, where'd you get your GHB from? And I go, one of my buddies from high school. He's like, oh, he's a good friend. He gave you some fucking WD-40 to put in your system.
Jesus.
So I eventually get to breathe on my own and all this shit. And then
Oh my God.
he comes back and they're like, the nurse tells me the doctor that saved you wants to talk to you. And I'm like, all right. And I asked him, like, how did I survive? And he was like, honestly, because you're fat. Like, you're pretty fat.
Because you had a little, yeah.
And I was like, what, man? And he goes, I mean, a smaller person would definitely, like a 120-pound person would die halfway through this. This is just one of the only times where it's good to be fat, right now. And
So what is it, because all the fat cells like kind of absorb it like a sponge?
Yeah, it'd be like also, yeah, how he metabolizes it as well in amongst his fat and muscle ratio and all those sorts of things.
That's hilarious. So guys,
Wow.
if you're thinking about trying drugs, try the fast food drugs first. Get nice and fat, and you can just have a ball. It'd be great. Get fat and then drugged up,
Wow.
and then you can survive.
Wow.
Jeez, that's funny.
He couldn't eat. Wow.
yeah, that's why I still haven't lost the weight, you guys.
Oh, yeah, good stuff, though. No.
I was like, the best part is when he called you fat. Tom Segura, everybody. Keep it going for Tom Segura.
Yes.
Great.
Tell me another.
Oh, that's good.
He's so good at telling stories.
He's good, isn't he?
He's just so good.
Yeah, we love Tom Segura. He's really funny, and just really good at what he does. Like his delivery, like I said, one of the first ones we did of his. I just love his delivery.
Yes, yeah.
It's really like understated, and he's self-deprecating. That's what you want a comedian to be: is just making fun of themselves,
Yeah.
but bringing you in and telling a good story.
But that was a good story. That was a scary story.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
do
Oh, but
drugs,
it's the stuff
okay?
you do. It's the stuff you do when you go, drugs bad. Okay. Yeah, but it's the stuff you do when you're a kid and you just think, I'm invincible.
Yeah,
it's
you're not.
You are so lucky.
God. So the concoction that he had
Well, he
Why
didn't
would-
actually. Yes.
was just, isn't like heroin one of the most expensive drugs? Or not? I don't know, but I mean to have all
I'm
of
not
that in
down with the current prices
your... No,
of
neither am I.
the Class A drugs, but no, I think what it
Jesus.
was is obviously the people who made that stuff make a whole bunch of shit. Like the bathtub is literally like the pan from the kitchen. It's just like, all right, finish with the spaghetti. Let's do something else. Let's do the ravioli.
Wow, that's
so
just crazy.
it would be really small traces of it.
but enough to.
Oh yeah, well, because here's the thing too. When like drug 101, when say a drug dealer like that would get a kilo of like cocaine or something, they're not going to sell a kilo of cocaine. So they want to cut it.
They'll
with stuff.
cut it with.
So
yeah.
if you've got that much stuff though, you are just going to use the bathtub. So you put the cocaine in, you put like some other stuff, like you cut it with all types of different things, talcum powder, all these different shit.
Why? When people know this, why do you want to take it when you know this?
Hi.
Just go into your like kitchen cupboard and drink whatever's in there.
Don't do drugs, kids.
It's bad.
But that was great. So, Tom Segura, This Is Not Happening, Overdosed, Uncensored. Great. I'm Ed.
And I'm Kat.
We are The Ruse React. For more videos like this, click here. And if you're our Patreon, click here.
For our latest videos, click here. And to subscribe, click here. Thanks.
See you later.
Bye.